How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. We're talking about NIO today, my price prediction, the crash that's happening right now, and what I'm doing about it. So I want to tell you about what came out today that's actually really good about the company, but yet the stock keeps falling down. So if you guys like this, please leave a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Also hit subscribe if you haven't already hit subscribe. We're on the road to 40,000 subscribers. We're almost there. So any little bit helps. I really appreciate it. Also, if you guys missed out on the 4 free stocks from WeBull and you want to get those, there are 4 free stocks if you deposit $100. You can sign up below. They're worth up to $1,600 for 2 of them, so you can get up to $3,200 there. And then the other 2 are worth up to $250, so you can get shares of Google, shares of Facebook. I got a share that was worth about $140 a few weeks ago, so definitely check that out. It does help out the channel a lot, so I really appreciate that. Also, if you want to see exactly why I'm buying and why I'm selling, I bought several different companies this week. You can check out the link down below to Patreon and join a group of other investors. We're about 700 strong right now, so definitely check that out down below. So NIO is down about 12.5% today, and this comes off the back of them giving out some really good news, honestly. So I'll explain why I think that it's going down in a little bit, but let's take a look first at the news that came out. So NIO came out with their delivery numbers for November. So this was a record month that they had. They delivered more vehicles than ever at almost 5,300 vehicles in 1 month. And this comes after last month when they delivered 5,055. So far, they've delivered 31,400 throughout the year. So only about 3,000 or 3,200 on average, something like that a month. Now they're up in the 5,000s, the strong 5,000s. Now, this isn't the only good news that came out today either. They actually were able to get an upgrade from a longtime bear on NIO. So the analyst Fei Fang from Goldman Sachs upgraded NIO from $7 a share with a sell rating to $59 a share and a neutral rating. So I think that's kind of interesting how analysts can just get away with it, just being really wrong about a company and then just upgrade it, and then everyone's happy with them. I think that that's kind of interesting. But they upgraded the target price to $59 a share. The other thing that they hit on that was really important was that they increased the capacity. They think that they are going to be able to increase the plan that they had implemented to be able to produce 7,500 vehicles per month a lot quicker. The company last upgraded its production line in September, boosting monthly output from around 4,000 to roughly 5,000, but demand is already outpacing that increase. They had said that they were hoping to get this done by the end of January. However, they said today that they're going to try to have this done by the end of December, so moving it up a month. Now, the company is seeing a pullback. You can see it's down 12.5% today. Now, I believe the reason for this is because of the general market sell-off. Right, so we've seen pretty much every company today, every SPAC, every EV company go negative. So we've seen that with SBE, we've seen it with RMG. Almost everyone is facing about a negative 12%, a negative 10% dip, with a few exceptions. But I think that this company still has a long-term outlook that's pretty good. For example, we saw them just at the end of last month. We saw them deliver record numbers, and they shot up from low 30s up to low 40s, and then slowly increased throughout the month all the way to $55 a share. Now, I think that we can actually beat that because we have gotten a lot of good news, right? I mean, obviously, investors price in some delivery numbers, they price in future growth. We're at about a $61 billion market cap now, so we are pretty expensive. The thing is, though, they're going to be able to raise these production numbers and pretty much double from what they were doing this year. So they will start next year at about double or triple what they started this year at. I think that we can raise this up to maybe $50, $60 a share. And if you've been looking at buying in, I think it's one of those things where you have to keep a level head and realize, sure, the share price is going down, but if you've been waiting to buy in and wishing that you could have bought in the mid to low 40s, I think this is a good buying time. I mean, there's no way of knowing where it's going to go, but the thing is, we can make educated decisions on what's going to happen going forward. So I personally am not buying in at this point. There are a couple companies that I feel like are a little bit better options for my money. For example, I put a good portion of my money in PSTH today, and you can see it's starting to dip off here, but I feel like this is a company that can do really well. I also realize that there are other alternatives to EV, and I've actually talked about this before. There are charging stocks, there are battery stocks that don't really rely on a specific company to do well. well. Obviously, Switchback Energy has to do well. They're going to merge with ChargePoint, but they don't have to compete against 20 other car manufacturers. They're competing with maybe 2 or 3 serious other charging stocks. So I think that this might be a better option. And just as a reminder too, we're just starting to get into the EV phase, right? We're just starting to be able to ramp up production, be able to sell more EVs, be more green. So I think we'll see a lot of these numbers increase over the future. Now, eventually we'll get to that tipping point where we've gotten so much growth and there isn't as much growth factored in, or we can't factor in as much growth because it's grown so much already. But we're far away from that. I mean, a lot of countries are saying all EV, a lot of them are saying 50% EV, a lot of them are saying 25% EV over the next 10 to 20 years. So a lot of these companies might be the winners. Now, again, I'm buying more companies like ChargePoint and RMG. What do they always say? The people that made money from the gold rush weren't the ones that were mining the gold. They were the people selling the shovels. So I'm buying more companies like that than particular EV stocks like NIO, with the exception of Tesla. I own a decent amount of Tesla. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor, so definitely do your own research. But I think that NIO does have some upside, especially with the fact that they are raising vehicles. They've been able to raise them a lot recently. I don't think that it's a bad stock to buy into. I think that over the long term, it could do really well. But again, they're going to be competing with some other companies in China, other companies throughout the world to actually be able to get the market share. So I like other companies like SBE, like RMG, like PSTH, which is that other company that I showed you there for a second. Those are the companies that I'll be looking at buying into more as time goes on. Now, if it does fall a lot more, I probably will buy more. I don't think this is very likely to happen because we can already see it starting to go back up a little bit. I think a lot of people have been waiting to buy a lot of NIO as time goes on. But I think that is something to consider. I probably will buy if it hits the 40s, if it falls another 10%. But if I had to guess whether we would see a green market or a red market tomorrow in the EV sector, I would assume a green day. We've seen a lot of these companies kind of fall off over the last few days. And we saw a really dramatic drop today, but we also saw -6 or -6.5% on NIO yesterday. So I think that we could definitely see a green day, which would mean that I probably won't buy into this company. Now, again, do your own research. I can only spend so much money on different companies, so I like to invest where I think my money is going to be the best served. And of course, I like to diversify too. I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. But let me know your thoughts on NIO in the comments below. I really appreciate it. Again, if you want to get those 4 free stocks through WeBull, definitely check that out. Also, I didn't even mention it, but there's a link down to Rakuten. I used them a few days ago to save about $40. They also give a sign-up bonus. It's just a little browser add-on where you can shop and then it will pop up if you get cash back. It will send you a check every 3 months. Definitely check that out if you want. Just make sure that if you sign up for it, you actually make a purchase through it because that will trigger the fact that you might actually get a bonus. So definitely check that out down below. I appreciate it. Now, if you want to see some stocks that I think could 2x, 5x, or 10x, I just did a video this morning. Definitely check that video out on the end screen here. I think it's really important to take a look at these companies.